Sarah slammed the front door of her suburban Chicago home, her heart pounding like a war drum. The words her 17-year-old son Arya had just uttered in the kitchen, "Mom, I'm gay," echoed in her mind, ripping open scars she thought were long healed. As she leaned against the door, gasping for breath, the doorbell rang, and there stood Elena Ramirez, her college sweetheart from 20 years ago. The woman she'd abandoned for a normal life. Sarah's hands trembled as she stared at Elena, whose dark eyes held a mix of pain and unresolved longing. "Sarah? I saw Arya's post on social media. He came out publicly today. I thought you might need someone who understands." Elena's voice was soft, but it carried the weight of their shared history, a history Sarah had buried under marriage vows and PTA meetings. Frozen in the doorway, Sarah's mind raced back to 2005, their sophomore year at Northwestern University. She and Elena had met in a literature class, bonding over Virginia Woolf's streams of consciousness that mirrored their own turbulent emotions. Late-night study sessions turned into stolen kisses in the library stacks, whispered promises under the stars on Lake Michigan's shore. But Sarah's conservative Catholic family loomed large, her father's stern lectures on sin, her mother's tearful prayers for a traditional future. When graduation approached, Sarah chose safety, a job in marketing, a proposal from her boyfriend Mark, and a swift goodbye to Elena, who begged her to stay true to herself. Now, with Elena on her doorstep, Sarah felt the ground shift. "You can't be here," she whispered, glancing over her shoulder. Mark was at work, Arya upstairs processing his own revelation. But Elena didn't budge. "I never stopped thinking about you, Sarah. And now your son. It's like fate's giving us a second chance to face what we ran from." Sarah ushered Elena inside, her pulse quickening. They sat in the living room, the air thick with tension. Elena explained she'd moved back to Chicago last year, teaching at a local high school, advocating for LGBTQ+ youth. "When I saw Arya's post, it hit me hard. He's brave, Sarah. Braver than we were." Sarah nodded, tears welling. Arya had confided in her weeks ago, but making it public today had blindsided her. She'd supported him outwardly, hugging him tight, but inside, a storm brewed, memories of her own suppressed desires clashing with the life she'd built. As they talked, Mark's car pulled into the driveway. Panic surged through Sarah. "You have to go," she hissed. Elena stood, but not before slipping a business card into Sarah's hand. "Call me. We need to talk about what this means for you." The door closed just as Mark entered, oblivious to the ghost that had just vanished. That night, Sarah lay awake beside Mark, his steady breathing a stark contrast to her turmoil. Arya's coming out had been a catalyst, unearthing her buried truth. She loved Mark, he was kind, a good father. But their marriage had always felt like a performance. The passion she'd known with Elena was a distant fire, now flickering back to life. What if supporting Arya meant confronting her own hypocrisy? The thought terrified her, yet exhilarated her in equal measure. The next morning, Sarah dropped Arya at school, his backpack slung over one shoulder, a newfound confidence in his step. "Thanks for being cool about this, Mom," he said, hugging her. "I know it's a lot." She smiled, but her mind was elsewhere. At work, she stared at Elena's card, debating. Finally, she texted, "Coffee tomorrow? We need to catch up." They met at a quiet cafe in Wrigleyville, the bustle of the city masking their intimate conversation. Elena looked the same, curly black hair, warm smile, but lines of experience etched her face. "After you left, I traveled, found myself in San Francisco's queer community. I dated, but no one compared to you." Sarah's cheeks flushed. "I married Mark right after. We had Arya 2 years later. It's been stable." But as she spoke, the word stable felt like a cage. Elena leaned in. "Stable isn't the same as happy, Sarah. I see it in your eyes, the same conflict I saw back then. Arya's courage could be yours too." Sarah pulled back. "I can't just upend everything. Mark doesn't deserve that. Arya needs stability now more than ever." Yet, as they parted, Elena's words lingered, planting seeds of doubt. Over the following weeks, Sarah's life fractured subtly. She found herself sneaking calls with Elena, reminiscing about their past, discussing the societal pressures that had driven them apart. Elena shared stories of her activism, fighting against anti-LGBTQ+ legislation in Illinois schools. Sarah, inspired, volunteered at area's school pride event. But the act felt performative, masking her internal war. One evening, Mark noticed her distraction. "What's going on, Sarah? You've been distant." She deflected, blaming work stress, but guilt gnawed at her. Was reconnecting with Elena a betrayal? Or was denying her truth the real betrayal, to herself, to Arya? The tension built when Arya invited friends over for a coming-out celebration. Among them was Jamie, a non-binary teen whose parents had disowned them. Hearing Jamie's story, Sarah's resolve cracked. That night, she confessed to Elena over the phone. "I think I made a mistake all those years ago." Elena's response was gentle. "It's never too late to choose authenticity. But it comes at a cost." Sarah knew the cost. Potentially losing her marriage, alienating her family, facing judgment from their church community. Yet, the alternative was a life of quiet desperation, watching Arya thrive while she withered. The decision loomed, a precipice she teetered on. As days turned to weeks, Sarah's secret meetings with Elena intensified. They walked along the Chicago Riverwalk, hands brushing accidentally, conversations delving deeper into the what-ifs. "What if I hadn't left?" Sarah mused one afternoon, the autumn leaves swirling around them. Elena stopped, turning to face her. "We'd have built a life together, fought the world side by side. But you chose fear over us." The words stung, but Sarah couldn't deny their truth. Back home, the facade began to crumble. Mark sensed the shift. Late nights at work, whispered phone calls. He confronted her one evening after Arya went to bed. "Are you having an affair?" His voice was calm, but his eyes betrayed hurt. Sarah's stomach twisted. "No, not exactly." She hesitated, then spilled part of the truth. "An old friend from college reached out. We're just talking." Mark nodded, but suspicion lingered. Arya, perceptive as ever, picked up on the tension. At dinner, he asked, "Is everything okay between you two?" Sarah forced a smile. "Just adult stuff, kiddo." But Arya pressed, "If it's about me coming out, I'm sorry if it caused problems." Tears pricked Sarah's eyes. "No, honey. Your bravery is inspiring me." The irony burned, her son's honesty forcing her to confront her lies. Elena's influence grew. She invited Sarah to a support group for late-blooming lesbians, held in a community center in Boys Town. Sarah attended anonymously, listening to women share stories of leaving marriages, facing custody battles, enduring societal scorn. One woman, Karen, spoke of losing her children temporarily because her ex-husband painted her as unfit. "The court saw my orientation as a moral failing," Karen said, her voice breaking. Sarah left shaken, realizing the stakes. Yet, the pull toward Elena was undeniable. During a stolen lunch, Elena confessed, "I've waited for you, Sarah. But I won't be a secret." Sarah nodded, torn. That night, she dreamed of their college days. Passionate debates, tender moments, waking with a resolve to explore her feelings further. The conflict escalated when Sarah's mother, Patricia, visited from the suburbs. A devout Catholic, Patricia had always prized family image. Over tea, she gushed about Arya's phase, suggesting conversion therapy disguised as counseling. "We can't let this define him," she said. Sarah exploded. "It's not a phase, Mom. It's who he is." Patricia recoiled. "And what about you? Always so rebellious in college. I prayed you'd settle down." The words hit like a slap, reminding Sarah of the pressure that had shaped her choices. After Patricia left, Sarah called Elena, voice trembling. "My family's going to disown me if I do this." Elena soothed. "Not all families are blood. You can build a new one." But Sarah wavered, picturing Arya caught in the crossfire. Mark's patience wore thin. He found Elena's card in Sarah's purse, Googled her and pieced together fragments. "She's more than a friend, isn't she?" he accused one night. Sarah broke down. "We were together in college. I thought it was over, but Arya's coming out. It's brought everything back." Mark's face paled. "So you're gay?" The word hung heavy. Sarah whispered, "I think so. I always have been." The argument raged. Accusations of deceit, pleas for counseling. Mark stormed out, staying at a hotel. Alone, Sarah faced her reflection, the woman she'd become versus the one she'd suppressed. She texted Elena. I told him. It's starting. The next day, Arya overheard whispers at school. Rumors about his parents' fight. Confronting Sarah, he demanded truth. Is this because of me? She hugged him. No, it's because of me finally being honest. Arya paused, then said. Then be honest, Mom. I want you happy. Emboldened, Sarah met Elena at her apartment, a cozy space filled with books and protest posters. They talked for hours, the air charged with possibility. But as Sarah left, guilt resurfaced. Was pursuing this worth dismantling her family? Weeks later, the family sat down for a mediated talk. Mark, hurt but composed, said, I love you, Sarah, but I can't live a lie either. Arya added, I support you, Mom, but Dad's hurting too. The session ended in tears, no resolutions. Sarah's internal battle peaked at a pride parade Elena organized. Watching families march together, she yearned for that freedom. But spotting Mark and Arya waiting at home, she hesitated. The choice loomed. Embrace her truth or preserve the status quo. The divorce papers arrived like a thunderclap, served at Sarah's office. Mark had filed, citing irreconcilable differences. Staring at the document, Sarah felt a mix of relief and devastation. This is the price, she murmured, echoing Elena's earlier words. She moved into a small apartment in Lincoln Park, the separation hitting Arya hardest. He shuttled between homes, his grades slipping, his once vibrant spirit dimmed. Why couldn't you just stay? He asked during a visitation. Sarah explained, I was living half a life, Arya. That wasn't fair to any of us. But his eyes accused, your happiness at our expense. Elena became her anchor, their relationship blossoming tentatively. Dates turned intimate in emotion, not physicality. Shared vulnerabilities, dreams deferred. Yet societal backlash reared. At work, colleagues whispered about the midlife crisis lesbian. A promotion slipped away, her boss citing personal distractions. Family fractures deepened. Patricia called, voice laced with venom. You've destroyed everything. Mark was a good man. Sarah retorted. A good man deserves a wife who loves him fully. The line went dead, estrangement sealed. Arya's school life turned turbulent. Bullies targeted him, linking his mom's scandal to his orientation. A fight ensued, landing him in detention. Sarah rushed to the principal's office, advocating fiercely. This is discrimination, she argued. The principal sympathized but warned. Community standards matter here. Inspired, Sarah joined Elena's advocacy group, channeling pain into action. They lobbied for better LGBTQ+ protections in schools, facing opposition from conservative parents. At a town hall, a man shouted, You're corrupting our kids. Sarah stood tall. We're saving them from hate like yours. But personal costs mounted. Mark dated anew, a woman from church, rubbing salt in Sarah's wounds. Seeing them at Arya's soccer game, jealousy flared. Not for Mark, but the normalcy she'd lost. Elena's past surfaced, complicating things. An ex-partner, Mia, reappeared, claiming Elena had abandoned her during a health crisis. You always run toward the next thrill, Mia accused in a heated confrontation Sarah witnessed. Doubt crept in. Was Elena reliable? Confronting Elena, Sarah demanded. Is this just revenge for me leaving you? Elena teared up. No, it's redemption. But I have flaws too. The argument tested their bond, forcing Sarah to question if trading one flawed relationship for another was wise. Arya's rebellion peaked. He skipped school, hung with the crowd questioning identities aggressively. Sarah intervened, sharing her story. I hid for years and it nearly broke me. Don't rush, find your path. Arya softened. I'm scared, Mom. Everything's changing. Their bond strengthened through shared vulnerability. As winter set in, Sarah reflected on her choices. The freedom tasted bittersweet. Lonely nights, financial strain from splitting assets. Yet, glimpses of joy emerged. Laughing with Elena, marching for rights, seeing Arya thrive in therapy. A pivotal moment came at Christmas. Patricia invited only Mark and Arya, excluding Sarah. Heartbroken, she spent the day with Elena's chosen family, a diverse group of queer friends. Warmth enveloped her, contrasting her blood family's chill. The new year brought legal battles. Mark sought full custody, arguing Sarah's unstable lifestyle. In court, testimonies flew, friends vouching for her parenting, opponents citing moral concerns. Sarah testified, "Loving authentically makes me a better mother." The judge ruled joint custody a partial victory. Exhausted, Sarah pondered the moral maze. Was her pursuit selfish or essential? Elena urged, "You've awakened. Now live it." But the scars reminded her of the toll. Spring brought renewal, but for Sarah it amplified conflicts. Arya's 18th birthday loomed, a milestone shadowed by family division. Planning a party, Sarah invited Elena, testing waters. Mark declined attendance, stating, "I can't pretend everything's fine." Arya, torn, said, "I want both of you there, but not if it's war." The event unfolded tensely. Elena arrived, gracious, engaging Arya in talks about college. But whispers from extended family, cousins, aunts circulated. "She's the homewrecker." Sarah overheard, confronting her sister. "This is my life, not gossip fodder." The sister snapped, "You chose this over family." Hurt, Sarah withdrew, questioning her invitations. Post-party, Arya confided, "It was awkward, but I'm proud of you, Mom." His words bolstered her, but the societal mirror reflected harshly. At a work conference, a client pulled out, citing values misalignment. Financial pressure mounted, forcing Sarah to freelance, sacrificing security. Elena's activism drew them into a high-stakes campaign against a proposed bill limiting LGBTQ+ education in schools. They rallied, Sarah speaking publicly for the first time. "As a mother of a gay son and a woman who denied her truth, I know the damage silence causes." Applause followed, but backlash ensued, online trolls threatening emails. Elena shrugged. "This is the fight." Sarah, however, feared for Arya's safety. A betrayal struck when Mia, Elena's ex, leaked old letters to a conservative blog, portraying Elena as manipulative. The post went viral, tagging Sarah. Headlines screamed, "Lesbian affair tears apart Chicago family." Mortified, Sarah confronted Elena. "Did you use me to heal old wounds?" Elena denied. "Mia's bitter. Trust me." But seeds of doubt sprouted. Mark capitalized, petitioning to revise custody. "This publicity endangers Arya," his lawyer argued. Sarah fought back, hiring a pro bono attorney from the advocacy group. The hearing was grueling. Character witnesses, psychological evals. Arya testified, "Mom's happiness matters. She supported me unconditionally." The judge maintained joint custody, but warned Sarah about public conduct. Reeling, Sarah distanced from Elena temporarily. "I need space to protect my son." Elena understood, but pain etched her face. "Don't let fear win again." Alone, Sarah delved into therapy, unpacking decades of internalized homophobia. Sessions revealed patterns. Choosing Mark for approval, suppressing desires for acceptance. "You're paying the price now," her therapist said. "But freedom's worth it." Reconciliation attempts with Patricia failed. A lunch meeting devolved into arguments about sin and salvation. "God doesn't make mistakes," Patricia insisted. Sarah countered. "Then why did he make me this way?" Silence followed, a chasm unbridged. Arya's graduation approached, a beacon amid chaos. He chose to live with Sarah post-high school, affirming her choices. "You've shown me strength," he said. Tentatively, Sarah reconnected with Elena, apologies exchanged. "We've both paid dearly," Elena admitted. Their bond deepened, forged in fire. But summer brought a moral quandary. A friend from church, struggling with her own identity, sought Sarah's advice. "Should I come out? My family's like yours." Sarah hesitated, weighing the pain she'd endured versus the liberation. "It's your choice, but know the cost." As conflicts waned, Sarah reflected. Damages irreparable, but growth undeniable. With Arya off to college in New York, Sarah's empty nest amplified her solitude. She threw herself into work and activism, co-founding a support network for queer parents with Elena. Success came, media interviews, funding grants, but so did exhaustion. Is this the life I traded everything for? She wondered during late nights. Elena's commitment shone, proposing a committed partnership. Let's build what we dreamed of. Sarah accepted, moving in together. Joy bloomed. Shared routines, mutual support. Yet shadows lingered. Mark's remarriage announcement stung. Arya attending the wedding without her. Family holidays fractured further. Thanksgiving at Elena's was warm, but Sarah missed traditions. Calling Arya, she heard distance. I'm happy for Dad. Jealousy flared, a reminder of sacrifices. Societal pressures persisted. At a panel discussion, an audience member challenged, "You abandoned your husband for selfish desires. What about vows?" Sarah responded, "Vows made in denial aren't sacred. Authenticity is." Debate raged, mirroring her internal ethics war. A crisis hit when Arya faced discrimination at college, a roommate's harassment. Flying out, Sarah consoled him. "Fight back like I did." But Arya confessed, "Sometimes I wish things were normal." Guilt crushed her. Had her choices amplified his struggles? Back home, Elena faced her own demons. A health scare, routine check revealing a lump, tested their bond. Sarah nursed her through biopsies, benign, thankfully, realizing vulnerability's depth. "I almost lost you once," Sarah said. Elena replied, "We're here now." Professional repercussions eased as Sarah's story inspired others. A book deal emerged, chronicling her journey. Writing unearthed raw emotions, regret for pain caused, pride in resilience. Patricia's olive branch came unexpectedly. A letter apologizing for rigidity. "I've been praying, learning. Can we talk?" Sarah met her. Tentative reconciliation budding. "I love you, Mom, but I won't hide." Patricia nodded. "I'm trying." As bonds mended slowly, Sarah pondered the ripple effects. Friends distanced, new ones formed. Financial stability returned through advocacy work. A final confrontation arose at Arya's homecoming. Mark attended a family dinner at Sarah and Elena's, civility strained. Toasts turned tense when Mark said, "We all made choices." Sarah agreed. "And paid for them." Reflection deepened. Was the upheaval justified? Years blended into a tapestry of hard-won peace. Sarah and Elena married in a small ceremony. Arya as best man, Patricia attending hesitantly. Vows exchanged amid tears. Through storms we choose each other. Joy prevailed, but memories of turmoil tempered it. Arya flourished, graduating, entering activism himself. "You paved the way, Mom." His words healed old wounds. Mark found happiness in his new family, co-parenting amicably. Occasional gatherings, birthdays, holidays became neutral ground. Sarah's book, Unveiled Truths, became a bestseller, sparking dialogues on late coming-out stories. Interviews probed. "Regrets?" she answered. "The pain, yes. The choice, no." Yet, in quiet moments, doubts whispered. Had she prioritized self over family? Elena reassured. "You modeled courage." Societal shifts aided healing. Legal protections strengthened, attitudes softened. But personal costs endured. Estranged relatives, lingering judgments. At a book signing, a young woman approached. "Your story saved me from a loveless marriage." Gratitude surged, affirming the trade-offs. As Sarah aged, wisdom crystallized. Life's moral ambiguities loomed. Right versus easy, truth versus comfort. In the end, gazing at Elena, Arya thriving afar, Sarah embraced her path's complexities. But was shattering a family to reclaim one's identity an act of bravery or betrayal?